Good morning, everyone. This is Morning Market Movers, where we do live analysis for day trading. It is Friday, October 15th. I am Todd Rich with Nadex. With me from Keep Trading Simple is Brian Caprice. Brian and I are going to jump into some analysis here in a second. But before we do, I do need to share this disclaimer that trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for everyone, that any trading decisions you make are solely your responsibility and at your own risk. And this is an educational session. Please do not construe anything Brian or I say as a buy or sell recommendation. We are doing this for your education purposes. So the top line news today, I almost said tonight. Wow, I got to wake up. Top line news today, we just had retail sales numbers that came out, and they blew away the forecast. Expectations, retail sales supposed to decline a little bit. Not so much. Retail sales, people are spending money. And even with inflation, there's demand. I mean, really, this is just being demand driven because we know we've got supply chain challenges. Even when you look at the retail sales without cars, I mean, it is up. People are spending money. Now, with that, as the economy seems to be showing resilience, earnings numbers from corporations all looking pretty solid so far. What are we seeing? We're seeing gold and silver weakness. The yen, where people were flying to quality for a while, that's been seeing weakness. So gold, silver, yen, all down. Equities up. That's what we're seeing today. Those are the hot spots for today. I am going to flip it over to Brian. Let's jump into some of these retail sales numbers, and then let's just get into some of the charts on gold, silver, yen, and the
Yep.
equities.
Yeah, I mean, quite surprising numbers. I didn't expect them to be quite as negative as they had forecast, but I didn't expect them to be anywhere close to this positive. Core retail sales was supposed to be, actually there was an adjustment last time. When you look at it, it was a 1.8 last time, which was much better than expected. They had to adjust that even higher to 2%. And then on top of that 2%, it was supposed to be 0.5%. It came in at 0.8. So again, even higher, even after the adjustment last time. So not as quite as robust as the 2%, but again, still higher than expected. They were being a little bit too negative. And retail sales, the overall, not just the core, there was also an adjustment. It was 0.7 last time on the 16th. That came in at 0.9. So again, they adjusted it higher. And then on top of that, it was supposed to be negative 0.2, came in positive 0.7. So absolutely blew these out of the water. And, it really kind of goes back. There was an article by Parkin earlier today, too, talking about, he's seeing inflation broadening, watching risks on prices, which, again, he's starting to see it. I'm not sure what he's looking at. But he's saying inflation is heavily driven by the auto sector, which, I would say that I don't know that I would say the auto sector by itself, but I mean, definitely the energies. That's something that everybody's complaining about. But he's saying it's, that's where he's really seeing it continue to go in the auto sector. Now he's patting himself on the back. He said the Fed has gone a long way to, toward meeting inflation goals and job goals. We went under 300, so that's pre-pandemic. So yeah, unemployment goals are probably there, and then inflation, his goal is 2, and we're at 5.
Yeah, a little higher. It's just 150%.
So
higher.
Yeah, and again, it's a very interesting picture. If you guys have been watching this over a few days, remember a couple days ago on Wednesday we saw CPI higher than expected, the Consumer Price Index. PPI yesterday, basically the cost of what they're producing, actually not as bad as what they thought. But then yet today, retail sales is blowing it out of the water. Companies,
so let me get this
earnings
straight.
are coming in good.
Yeah, earnings are coming in good because producers, it's not costing them as much as they thought to produce it, but
Correct.
the consumers are spending through the nose to get it.
Yep.
So earnings I would expect to see good. I mean, that's why we're seeing the stock market
continue to push. Now the question is, I mean, there's that old song too, is like, let me bring it back over to the ES, like, is good bad? Because remember, if all this stuff is too good, then, I mean, Barton just said it, then it's going to determine when they really are doing the taper and how fast. So it's kind of a weird scenario where, like, again, remember, Jamie Dimon said 2 weeks ago that the Fed it's looking like the Fed's going to be pushed into some immediate changes. They would like to not do the immediate changes, But I mean, we're blowing all the numbers out of the water. They're like, yeah, we'll see where taper starts. But we know inflation is going higher, 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 higher. All the earnings are great. The unemployment situation is back to where it was pre-pandemic. So that's not the problem anymore. Um, what is there's absolutely no reasons not to hold it. They're talking about energy inflation is getting out of the out of the whack. Autos, it's flowing over. Food, it definitely is having some problems. So like, what is the real reason? They're kind of running out of reasons. So yeah, if it continues at this rate, and again, remember, now all we're hearing now is Christmas going to be ruined because or hard because we can't get things. I don't know. People are going crazy spending stuff now.
Oh,
I mean,
they are opening up ports. So yeah, so let's do this. Let's you want to do the equities first? You want to do the equities charts first?
yeah, let me drop it down. So, I mean, we're back in that like kind of high territory again. It's been a long time. When I say a long time, like back what September-ish, like the middle to end of September. And again, that was kind of on the down run. So I mean, we built up a lot of buyers, so we built up a lot of areas. We just crossed the 4450. Remember the double zeros and the 5 zeros and the 2 5s are big kind of psychological levels for the human brain. We break things down into segments. We're just going through that right now, but I really like the way that this formed. I like how, again, we talked about we had a level there and to watch it, and you can see it came up and it based and it pulled back and it tried to kind of punch through again and kind of pulled back again. But I really like how it's kind of forming this kind of like upward trending area here where the buyers keep stepping in higher and higher and higher and higher. And there were sellers on the opposing side right at that psychological number at 4450. So we've punched through that now, which means okay, the sellers are giving way. So the question is, and again, with retail sales being good today, this is just, consumer confidence. These are all positives today. There's not really a lot of negative factors out there, at least for the ES. I would say if we go up and we start stabilizing, this is kind of there. It's kind of set for that feel good Friday. I know it was a feel good Thursday as well, and we joked about feel good Thursday yesterday, and it came much higher. Kind of the same scenario today. Retail sales numbers are great. I mean, earnings should be great. There's not really a whole lot of negative factors really setting this higher. So, I would say find decent levels of basing. And again, you can use kind of tricky tools. Like I mentioned tricky tools for entries. We always draw fibs in the other direction, it seems like. But when you go from here to here, right? When you go from here to here, right? You can see that it pulled right back to the 50 to get in. Everybody's always, how do I get in on a pullback, right? Well, there's how you do it, right? You take your low to high to here, and then you can see right where it pulled back to the 50, the 61.8 would have been your stop loss, and boom, all the way up, and it continued to push higher. So there's fun little ways that you can use fibs and not just kind of reversal situations or huge draws. You can use it on the smaller time frames to be able to get into positions as well. But right now, I'd say that ES today makes sense for me. NQ, we talked yesterday about really driving forward and hitting that 15,000. It did. It went 15,000. We're up at 15,105 right now. And kind of the same thing. There's a little level right here, but that should help propel us forward. Retail sales is not really an NQ based data. I would say services is more of an NQ thing. When you think who the big player is over there, it's Apple. NQ is up right now 0.4%, but Apple's up 2%, which means there's a drag on kind of some of the other sides of it. So, and again, Apple is just cruising higher and also having a little bit of a gap. So, NQ looks like it's going to be the weaker of the group today, particularly because, again, retail sales is more everybody else, particularly the YM. You can see YM.
Yeah, so I obviously we're seeing the S up. Is Dow the place to be looking today?
I'd say probably Russell is. Dow we were just talking that, I was going to say Dow 35,000. You can see it just burst up. Yeah, it's over right now. It's responding to the retail sales number as it should. I mean, retail sales, it's a broad variety of things. Dow, manufacturing and kind of broad sales is the Dow. Business is over there in ES. Tech is NQ, and Russell is the little guys. And again, Russell should be the big mover today because if people are spending money, that means more of it's also filtering down. If you have your only buying what you need, that tends to be the big box stores where the Russell is the small guys on the small side. So I would say kind of the same scenario here. And if we look back between these two levels, it looks like any risk area for the Dow would be up around 35,155 right here. But we've seen that area already hit twice, and this one drove about 3/4 of the way through. And then if we clear, let me see here, if we clear 35,000, basically 35,200, We clear 35,200. We are in a racetrack higher up until 35,400. So we have a 200-point block there where we really don't have much really affecting price. So that could be something. Wait for it to continue to push up. It's got to go about another 50 points higher, about 40 points higher. See if we base in that level, kind of base sideways here. And then if we can break the 35,197 or 35,200 level, that could be a decent runner today up to the 35,400. That'd be a great way to end Friday for the Dow.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
Let's
Russell,
look at that
oops.
Russell, because I tell you, I mean, the Russell, we are seeing the Russell make some swings. We're seeing it blow through some of these binary
Hmm.
out here. In fact, I'll just put it up very, very quickly. I mean, it's in an upward channel. I don't have the channel drawn exactly
Hmm.
right, but I kind of zoomed in here for people to see. I mean, the Russell is making moves through multiple short duration binary strikes, and there's going to be some short term trading there in the Russell that probably could be a spot for people to really be looking at.
Yeah, I mean, again, remember the Russell is always going to be those kind of small cap companies, the smaller, more agile companies. If people are spending more money, a lot more filters down to them, and they tend to be in a better position for it. I have a couple lines, and it's kind of hard for you guys to see. I can make these a little bit bigger. There and there are two levels that we've seen kind of sellers step in, but it's not a level that I would draw for a reversal. It's more of kind of like a pickup level where let's see what happens there. It's probably the way that I look at it is see how it's turning red right now. I'm looking at it for it to kind of like base along that level as it kind of eats through the rest of the sellers in there, and vice versa, kind of coming up here. I would say that they're probably more pullback levels, not triggers for a reversal for me. I don't really have anything drawn that's decent up until 2307. So again, it's another 10 something points higher from where we are. And could that be a reversal for a pullback? Yeah, but again, the retail sales numbers was just too good. The only thing that really can derail us today is if somebody else like Barkin starts talking today and starts mentioning that, due to retail sales being so high and we're going to have to move on taper faster. That's the type of language that would, and again, it's kind of like I told you so, but that's the type of language that would really turn this red today, or at least give us a pullback. I mean, we do have the University of Michigan consumer sentiment, the preliminary one. There's supposed to be an upward adjustment. That would matter, but I mean, if they're spending this much money, they're not really concerned right now. It shouldn't be horribly bad. And then again, Williams is speaking, but Williams is not one of the bigger names. And I think, what does it say? Um, Monetary Policy and Macroeconomic Stars, hosted by the Bank of France. So not really. Williams doesn't really have anything that he's not really speaking in anything that would be earth shattering. But I don't know. I'm just thinking of different things. I mean, like if Powell suddenly gets on and says, "Yeah, do these numbers. We're going to be really investigating it." But like I said,
They're not going to do
Friday,
that. They've got a meeting in
yeah,
2 weeks. They'll probably just wait
yeah,
and
they're probably
digest.
weighing everything this week. Yeah, that's what I said. That's the only thing that I could see that could really stop it. Today, I mean, like I said, it's Friday. People want to get out for the weekend.
Right.
It's fall time. I mean,
And
there's
hopefully
just
the
not
weather's
enough out there. So
so now we got some spots in the markets that aren't so pretty.
yeah,
I mean, here I've got the chart of gold up right now.
yeah.
Let's take a peek at gold and silver, because gold did push its way all the way back up to 1800, and then nothing but sellers. So here, I'll flip this back over to you.
Yeah, and it's a lot of you know the name of this trade. I mean, there's a lot of boring in there, but we knew 1800 was going to be a big deal. It was a big, huge psychological level before. If you look at see what we had on, with the non-farm, the Wednesday numbers, the CPI numbers. Remember, gold is, I mean, it's big deal. Is CPI. We had a huge spike, actually a big drop from a level we talked about, and then again the big spike. Excuse me, that it should have gone up to. And then it kind of just ran into some problems and it kind of formed a little higher. And then again, we started getting this topping pattern here. And we mentioned yesterday morning, 1800 was a big deal. You can see that this big level of basing right here. And since that time, what has it done? It just has rolled all the way back down. So it's just a parabolic move. It's a parabolic retracement move.
That is
And
exactly
it
what it
literally,
is.
if you talk about that the morning of CPI, that's exactly where price is right now. And remember, gold I would say gold. And I mean, remember, gold is associated with risk. Okay, VIX is down 2.5%. Retail sales looks great. All the earnings are good. Where's the risk in that? So money filters from that arena back over into stocks. When stocks are not doing well, and we see inflation, and there's a lot of other problems, money goes back into the other side, into gold, because that's where the gold and bonds, right? So It kind of makes sense that it's down. It really started moving really pretty much at midnight. I mean, the Europeans stepped in right here and kind of accelerated it. Here is the European Open right there. Right there's the European Open candle right here, this first red one. So they accelerated it, but it was already kind of the pullback. And again, it's this is just lack of action, lack of being able to see much in there. And again, like I said, there's also the parity with Bitcoin, right? The
Right.
people that were using gold as an investment are now trying to, they're starting to filter some over into Bitcoin and use
I
that
think
as
that's
kind of
definitely
the
siphoning
investment.
some off for
Yeah,
sure.
which I saw yesterday. It's official now that the United States mines more Bitcoin than China. That
Great.
China's ban is working. They're able to track it. But at the same time, again, Biden's initiative is to go green and yada, 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 yada. We're doing all
Well,
these
yeah, it's
offshore.
Bitcoin isn't exactly green, is it? We're just
No,
sucking up
no.
the power like
Yeah,
there's no tomorrow.
yeah. And that's what, and China said, because it is, it is not power hungry friendly and it's very, produces a lot of heat. It's bad. They mentioned climate change as the reason why they banned Bitcoin. So, but now the United States picked it up and we're going to do those wind farms on both coasts, which again, yeah, I read an interesting article about it yesterday. They talked about how it's a great initiative, it's a great idea, but if we put all our power on the coasts, do you know the easiest way to cripple the United States would be? To take out all the things on the coasts.
Great. All right, enough of the doomsday. Hey, by the way,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
we mentioned yen up front. Do you want to just before we wrap things today? We've been
Yeah,
seeing
I would
some
say one
yen
to watch out for
weakness.
would be the pound yen. If you're seeing and looking at the currency kind of front right here, seeing the pound dollar up about 22, and again, that's coming back again because of the retail sales number. But euro pound is also down. The
Yep.
yen is obviously the weakest. You can see it in the dollar yen, Aussie yen, but pound yen again up 150. 155 again, that's over a daily ATR. It's a normal move. It could definitely do that one. If there's any type of topping in here, there will be some profit taking coming in. It's at a level right now where it's been a long time since we've been up here, so I don't want to go too crazy with it. But again, 157, it's a decent level. This 157, 158 level, it's really where I think it should be. But there may be some minor term pullbacks. If not today, on Sunday, it's kind of we get the reversal. Um, and again, they're all going to be the same. The euro yen is up, the Aussie yen is up. They're all basically the same trades. But I think the pound yen, because it had so much strength coming in, just for today, I think it's probably due for some profit taking and a pullback in there. But right now,
At some point, it's gonna be kind of tricky
yeah,
to
and like I said,
time
I don't know
that.
if it's today or not. I mean, the
Right.
euro yen's kind of in the same spot. It's high, and then again, the Aussie yen has already started to kind of put that little top in here. So they're all basically in the same area. I think the hard one would be the hardest of them would be to play is probably the
The
dollar
dollar yen.
yen.
Yep.
Just because retail sales is great for the dollar. There's no reason for profit taking to happen during the U.S. session. But I think, I think pound yen is probably the one that will give us the most movement back down. And just be cautious of levels down here at 156.85 because there's a decent bounce, and then obviously the origin of the move down here at 156.13. But that's a pretty big runner. That's about 116 pips back to the downside when this finally gives us the signal that it's turning. Not quite there yet, but it's looking like it's starting to have more problems to the top side. So that would be something to be on your toes about looking for a reversal either today or going into Sunday night.
Perfect. Well, with that, any questions for Nadex, please email us, customer service at nadex.com. Any questions for Brian? You can also email Brian at support@keeptradingsimple.com. Maybe it will be a feel good Friday. That's what we're kind of hoping for. What are we seeing? With the retail sales numbers, weakness in gold, silver, and as Brian just went through the yen, but we're seeing strength. Consumers are spending money, and even with the inflation, they're spending money. Corporate earnings are all looking good. We got U.S. equities all looking higher. We will catch you all on Monday morning. I want everyone to enjoy the weekend and good luck in the markets, everyone. Thanks.